Hey everyone, it's Foxx from Model Making Guru here. Hello, and welcome to a brand new partwork. Yes, now I was going to do all kind of mysterious introductions for you, but there's really no kind of point because it says in the title what we're doing and on the thumbnail it's kind of obvious. So without any further ado, not adieu, but ado, I shall reveal that we are building, yes, the Fanhome, build the DeLorean at the Back to the Future. I got that wrong. It's written there, Fox. The words are there on the, and I still got it wrong. Build the Back to the Future DeLorean. That is what we're doing. Read the words, Fox. Read the words of the publisher. Yes, now, it's very warm today. I'm going to be talking rubbish all the way through. The eagle-eyed amongst you, do you see what I did? Do you see what I did there? The eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed. Yes. This is an Eagle Moss partwork. But those of you who may know, or some of you will know this, but Eagle Moss was is the key word, a British partwork publisher up until last year when they went kaput and out of business and fell over and couldn't get back up again. And yeah, the long night came for that company. And people who were going through their partworks, who were doing things like this and the Enterprise and the Ecto One, things like that, they just got left in the lurch halfway through the partwork. So yeah, that kind of was a bad thing last year. However, the good folks at Fanhome took up those subscriptions. I don't know what they did, probably just bought the stuff and I don't know, all the tools and dies and things like that. I have no idea. But basically, they jumped in and took over all those partworks. So things like this DeLorean and the Enterprise D, the enormous one, and the Ecto One, and I think some others, I'm not fully familiar with all of them, they are now being run by Fanhome. And I'm going to be doing the Fanhome DeLorean. Now, if you are a former Eagle Moss customer and you were part way through one of your partworks, like the Ecto One or this one or one of the other ones, don't panic. Do not panic. I think there is something in place with the guys at Fanhome. If you were, say, halfway through, you can start a subscription with Fanhome at the issue you want to start from. So you don't have to start from scratch. You can start from issue 35 or 27 or 48, wherever you were. But it's worth contacting the people at Fanhome just to see what they've got in place, because I think they did have something in place for former Eagle Moss customers who were part way through their partworks. So give them a shout. If you've got a half-built thing, get in touch with them, because this is where you get to carry on. If you're halfway through this, for example, give them a shout. You can carry on with that partwork. You don't want a half-built DeLorean on your shelf. That looks like nonsense. Anyway, yes, we are going to be building, I say we, it's like the royal we, it's me. I'm going to be building the Back to the Future DeLorean, the lovely, lovely DeLorean. Now, I have sat in and detailed a DeLorean. They are awesome. They are so bad. Well, they're kind of good, but they're just awesome. I've sat in one and it had carpet on the dashboard. It had carpet. Let me just say that in words again. It had carpet on the dashboard, on top of the dashboard, where there's normally just, there was carpet, like the carpet that you get on the floor, it was on the dashboard. That's carpet on the dash. I can't, my brain still doesn't quite get that. But yeah, they were awesome. They were awesome. A guy came to us and said, "Can you machine polish me DeLorean?" We're like, it's brushed aluminium. If we machine polish it, it's just going to be aluminium. You don't want to get the marks out the aluminium because it's brushed. He went, "Oh, what can you do to it?" I said, "We can wash it. We can do the interior." Bless him. He thought we could machine polish brushed aluminium. Anyway, yes, they are awesome cars. We are going to be building this. We've got here the first two issues, issue 1 and issue 2. If you're not familiar with who Fanhome are, or even what partworks are, that was my watch, shut up watch. If you're not familiar with who Fanhome are, here's a little tiny video. So, there you go. Now you know. Yes. Now, big, massive thank you to the guys and girls at Fanhome who are providing this partwork for me. I'm not paying for this. This is being given to me free of charge. So, big, massive hugs and thank yous to the guys and girls at Fanhome and the people that I speak to. Thank you, Marta. They are providing this to me free. They have no say in the creative process. It doesn't give them carte blanche to tell me what to say. If I think something's great, I'll tell you it's great. If I think something sucks balls, I'll tell you it sucks balls. It's completely my show. The only deal we have is they send me this and I make videos of the build. And that's it. So a little bit of transparency there for you. Now, if you've not done a partwork before, It's very simple. Each month you get a set number of issues. I assume it's 4. I don't know. I've only got 2 for this first pack, so I don't know if the next one's going to be 4 or 5. Sometimes it's 4, sometimes it's 5. Like the GT40 is 5 a month. This one might be 4. But each month you get a set number of magazines. Each magazine comes with a set number of parts. And the magazine will usually contain instructions for those parts to build it, because you build this up over a period, and some fluff and lore about the subject. In this case, this is how it works. Because it's an Eagle Moss one, or a former Eagle Moss, it starts off with the actual instructions. We have the list of parts. In this issue 1, we're building the rear bumper, the butt end. We're starting with the butt. Always a winner. And they have the instructions first, unlike the Fanhome stuff, and then we go on to the fluff and the lore. If you're used to the other Fanhome builds, they start with the lore and fluff, and they have the instructions at the back. Also, we have nice CGI, like they use the CAD renders rather than actual photographs. So I quite like that look. We then have all the fluff and the lore. Now, I'm not going to focus on the magazines as we go along. I probably won't really show many of the magazines. I'll just quickly flip through them or something. Because at the end of the day, you're here to see the build. If you want to read the magazines, you have to subscribe. I'm not going to give that away for free. You have to subscribe to the partwork for that. Not subscribe to me. I mean, do subscribe to me. We have to subscribe to the partwork. So if you want to read the magazines, get the partwork. But as an example, this one focuses on the origin of the time machine. Not just how they settled on it being a DeLorean, but how they settled on it being a car. Because at first it was going to be a fridge, a lead-line fridge that they took into the desert near a nuclear test site. And it had to be near a nuclear detonator. Yeah, it sounds like that crappy Indiana Jones film. Apparently that's where that came from. It came from the original idea these guys had of the lead-line fridge. That got filtered into the Indiana Jones film. We don't talk about that Indiana Jones film. That film doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. Anyway, so this is issue 1. We're going to be building the bumper. So I shall get all the parts ready and we shall crack on. So, back in a moment. Okay, and here are the parts we get with issue 1. We get a lot of the bits for the right passenger side light cluster at the back. We get the bits for the rear bumper, including the awesome DeLorean logo bumper section there. We get all the screws we need and parts to start the license plate, which, as you can see, looks pretty nice. Now, we do get some stickers to put on that as well, because it has the little sort of date and time stickers on there as well. So we have those as well there, you see. Now, so what we're going to do, we're going to crack on. It shouldn't be a particularly complicated set of building for these 2 issues, because there's not a vast amount to do. We start, strangely enough, with the license plate itself. Oh, I forgot to tell you, that's metal. It's quite nice and heavy as well. I don't know how much this car will weigh, but I'm going to guess between 6 to 8 kilograms. A bit like the Dodge, maybe. So put these bits in there. The tail light section, if I can pick them up. I can't pick them up. I can't pick it. There we go. Get these in there. We'll need these stickers. I think this is part of the license plate as well. Or we'll need this part. And don't know what that is. We will need some screws. Let's have a look. We've got AP screws and BP screws. Right, so the first thing we need to do is get the stickers on the license plate. We have 2 stickers here, one that says August and one that says CA 86, California in 86, even though the year film was 84. And now I didn't realise these were holographic. They don't look holographic on the actual main photographs, but there you go. So the AUG sticker above the O on the number plate. So this should be fairly straightforward. I think it's split into 2 halves. There we go, you get a spare one basically. So this needs to go above the O. Now if you've ever seen real American license plates, these aren't always actually straight. I quite like the fact, I can't do this when I'm holding it up. I quite like the fact they give you these stickers to put on, because in reality, of course, these are actually stickers. Like the license plate is pressed in place. That's not in the right place. The license plate is pressed out of metal, and then the month and other bits are stuck on by hand. So we'll get that on there. We'll just straighten up a little bit and kaplunk. There we go. It's quite hard to see. I hope it's the right way up. I can't actually I'm trying to look now. Yes, it's the right way up, I think. I hope so. So that's that one. This one goes on the opposite corner. Oh, there's a little gap in the stripes. You can see where they're supposed to go. Yes, we have. I've got an American license plate on my wall, and the stickers aren't that straight. They go roughly where they're supposed to go. But we'll try and get these as straight as, if I can get it to line up without actually sticking. There we go. I can't remember if they're supposed to be holographic because they're supposed to be from slightly in the future. I mean, it's got the 86 and the film was 84, I think. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm talking rubbish. I'm just trying to fill out time now. So we have a couple of spare stickers left over. Let's put them over there. I'm going to guess maybe they go on the front license plate, but I can't remember what's on the front license plate. There we go. Next, it says, clip the number plate into the number plate base, which is here. Taking care to make sure both components are the correct way up. These little notches have to be at the top, so that goes in there, and that sits in like that. Out of time. Once the number plate has been clipped into place, secure it to the plate base. Words Fox, using 2 AP screws. I'm going to try the screwdriver you get with it, which is quite a nice hefty screwdriver. This comes with the first issue. You always get the screwdriver with your partworks. And often, as they have different shape and size screws, you'll often find that you get different screwdrivers throughout the course of a partwork. Now, I'm quite liking this one because it's got this big chunky handle. I have to say, with the Fanhome ones, you get these ones, which are all well and good, but the handles are not very good for real forceful gripping. When you get a screw most of the way in, and you've got to put some welly on into it, put some elbow grease into it, they're not that great. But this actually is quite a nice handle. I could see myself not having to use my own screwdriver at this point. There we go. Now, because it's plastic, I've not put them in too tightly because it doesn't really matter. If you do it too tightly, you risk damaging the plastic. So we have now completed, have we? No, we haven't. Wait. We have the clear bit, which is here. Take the plate holder and clip it to the lip at the top of the plate base. Ensure that the holder's 2 screw holes are tucked behind the base and aligned with the base's screw holes. Should always be aligned with your screw holes. So that's these little bits here with the black rims. That clips on like that. Perhaps. I did read the words. There we go. So that goes on there like that and lines up. Like that. And 2 AP screws again. So I'm going to have to be very gentle with these because it's a bit of a tight fit. And I don't want to damage anything, so let's get a screw lined up first. It's also a magnetic screwdriver, which is kind of handy. The Fanhome ones aren't that magnetic. Now this clear plastic it feels very delicate, like easily cracked, so I'm not going to tighten these too tight at all. I only tightened it a little way to start with because I want to get them both in. The trick with plastic when you're screwing things together in plastic is, first of all, don't over tighten them, but also if you've got like a left and a right side screw, don't put one all the way in and then do the other one because that's already bent the plastic. Do them both, get them both in, and then tighten them bit by bit. So you're kind of balancing the pressure between left and right. There you go. Now that doesn't need to be very tight, so I'm just doing that finger tight on there because that clear plastic feels very crackable with very little effort. So it just needs to hold that in place, which it does. There we go. Lovely. So that's the license plate holder. Right, that's that bit done. That's our first actual assembly completed. I'm doing me giddy hands, that is Tony used to call them. Which reminds me, by the way, today is Sunday. Tomorrow is Tony Fairclough's birthday, Helgen35. So happy birthday, Tony. Happy 75th birthday, old man, you old fart. Big hugs to you. And where's my cake, you clamp hand? Right. Making sure the DeLorean logo is the right way up. Oh, we're doing this bit. I like that. The DeLorean logo. I do like that font. 1980s. Making sure the DeLorean logo is the right way up. Take the bumper and attach it to the rear section. Attach it to the... Wait a minute. Have I missed a step here somewhere? Oh, yeah, we've... Fox, you idiot. We've missed a whole 2 pages. Hello. I'm so giddy. Well, we did that bit anyway. It's not hard, is it? Right. Step one. Should we start at step one? Good God, I'm not safe. I'm not allowed out. Right, push the two sections of the DeLorean's rear together. So we have this section and this section. They go like that. Like that, you see, like that, lovely. And you want 4 BP screws. So I'm just going to have to get some BP screws out. Now, my understanding here, I've never done an Eagle Moss kit before, so I'm guessing that BP and AP means plastic screws, screws going into plastic. I'm going to guess screws going into metal, although these are going into metal, would be M. Like attaching 2 metal parts. So we've got basically 1, 2, 3. No, we don't want those. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what we want. Let's get some BP screws. Bia pia. It's tough while trying to do this on camera as well. Do forgive me for nonsenseness. That's one. I'm liking this screwdriver. Hey, Fanhome guys, take note. From now on, can you give these screwdrivers away instead of yours? These are better. This one is much better. It's just got a nicer, grippier handle, which is easier for gripping, especially when you want to really tighten stuff. There's no point in having a... See, these ones, they're not very grippy and they're very lightweight, and you can't really... Oh, you know when you really need to heft a screw in? Give it a big... Use all your manly, big boy strength. It doesn't really work when you got them. Right, so again, I'm using plastic here, so I've loosely attached them. Now I'll go back and tighten them. I'll do that one, and then this one. Not all the way, I'm just doing it finger tight to start with. Then this one, then this one. I think those are the right ones. Yes. And then we'll go in a bit more, because they want to go in quite nicely. These two parts want to be really flush and tight. So we'll work our way along. Get these in. Nice. Again, I don't want to go too far. Now, I shouldn't really do any damage to plastic here because the screw is pushing into metal. So it's not putting any undue pressure on the plastic, so I can go quite tight. There we go. So that is those two parts together, nice and firm and nice and flush. There we go. Starting to just have this first look of a nice butt. I like a nice butt. I just said that loud bit, quite a bit loud, didn't I? Right, now step 2 or step 1. Okay, step 1 of step 2. You know what I mean? Right, take the light housing, and we want kaplink, kapla. We want the double one, which is that one. We want it's like playing Tetris. We want that one, and we want this little clear white one. And it should be, now this white one has a specific edge to it. I'm going to guess this edge is the one on the outer edge because it needs to fit there. This is what the assembled piece is. It should look, yes, if you look on the picture here, you can see it does have, there's the camera there, it does have that edge around the outside. Same on that one. So we should have, this is so 1980s, this light fitting. It should have, oh yeah, then this one. Then this one, this is the actual running light, I think, isn't it? Not the brake light. Talking about my brake light. Is this the wrong way up or the right way up? Oops, knocking the camera. No, that's the wrong way up. Yes, if you pay attention to the little image, it does show you. Let's put that over there. The right way, because they have a lip on there, so that needs to be at the bottom. Always have your lip on the bottom, matron. And then get that one the way around. There we go. So that goes together like that. And this needs to be fitted onto the passenger socket of the rear section. Okay, now you have to push this little lip in here first. It says, take care to push the lip in first. This is where they all fall out and I do swears. There's a little slot down there, so that needs to go in there. And it has to be pushed in like that, so they can all fall out. Oh, yeah, they all fall out. I'm not sure I'm going to do this. Hang on. It'd be nice if you had a bit of clear tape to put behind them. That would kind of make life a bit easier. Right, that like that. And then, oh, carnage. C'est carnage. It's a lot easier if I wasn't doing it on camera. I'll be perfectly honest. And a lot of the time I'm not doing it on camera because I'm an idiot. Let's try that again, shall we? That goes in there like that. Oh, then I drop it. I'm so butterfingery today. They don't actually lock in place very easily. So if I do that, and then somehow, how is this supposed to? I don't. Hang on. I'm going to have camera for a second. That's not even remotely in place. Right, so let's push that along. Move along home. No, don't say that. It's a terrible episode. There we go. That's in. That's in. There we go. That was fun and a little bit tricky when doing it on camera. Right, so that's in. It is very warm and I'm very sweaty at the moment. I didn't need to know that, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Take one BP screw and thread into the back of the rear section. Use a screwdriver to tighten the panel of lights to the assembly. So it's going to be the inner hole here. Not that one, but this one, I think. Apparently it shows it on the other side as well, but we haven't put a light on the other side yet. What? Quite sure it shows the one on the other side. It's a bit weird. That goes in. Oh, got shaky hands today. That goes in there. Oops. That holds the light in place because the other side's held in place by that little tab. Okay, so I can do that quite tight. That's that done. I have no idea why we have it does show putting a screw in there, but there's nothing to put a screw into. So I'm not going to do that because there's no light there. I'm going to guess that's the next step. Because that screw will just fall out. It also doesn't say anything about that. It says, the time machine's rear light displays are identical to those of the original DeLorean DMC-12. They are divided into 4 distinct functions. You have the reversing light. You have the running lights, the brake light, and the indicator. Oh, plunking the camera. And if I hold it up to a light, they look quite good actually. You can't see it, but you don't know. But this will probably blow the camera, but oh, really got the shakes bad today. I don't want to know. Just like disco light. Michael, I don't agree. That's just like some cheesy, like handheld 1980s toy, isn't it? I'll stop doing that now. I quite like that. Gives you a feel for the size of it as well. It's not going to be quite as, I don't think it's anywhere near as massive as the Dodge Charger. I mean, it's basically just over as wide as my hand. That's quite nice. It's quite a nice size. I'm going to tighten this screw in the corner here. Right, now that's step 1 and 2 done. Oh look, we've done step 3. Step 4, put on the bumper. Which just literally, it says, attach the rear section line the holes and push the 2 pieces together. Okay, no screws involved. Where's the bumper? There it is. DeLorean goes on that side, and we simply, there's 4 little plastic tabs here. I went all posh then. 4 little plastic tabs here, and they go into those little plastic tabs there. Push them together. We've got a little, hang on. No, these 2, oh, there we go, that's it. That's it. Pay attention to the words and the pictures, folks. The words and pictures. There we go. That's a satisfying click. Now I watched somebody doing this build, and the very last step they put this bumper on. I'm like, why would you have the bumper at the first issue and then not put it to the end? I don't know why they did that, because you do it in the first issue. Right, so that concludes issue 1. Now that you've assembled your first part of your Back to the Future DeLorean model, put it somewhere safe until issue 2 arrives. Issue 2 will arrive shortly. So there we go. I apologise if I keep going off camera. I've got no idea where the camera is. I shall put that down and we shall crack on with the next bit. And so on to issue 2. Now, I might have to issue a quick correction here. I can't exactly remember what I said when I started the video, but I think I may have said that the body panels on the DeLorean were brushed aluminium. They're not. They're brushed stainless steel. I can't remember what I said. I did about 18 different takes of that opening sequence, so I might not have even mentioned that at all. But if I did, I'll correct it in the edit. But I think I may have said they were brushed. They're not. They're brushed stainless steel. The reason I mentioned that is this is the first piece of the body panel. It's quite nice. It's really quite heavy because it's metal, but it's not brushed. It's not brushed stainless steel. It's got a fake brushed effect on it, painted in, and it actually looks really good. Now, I don't know if you'll see, as I can see here, but my modeller's eye tells me that that's what happens when you brush on a coat of paint. Not quite thick enough, it's not quite opaque enough, and you can see streaky lines of the colour underneath. Now, I think what they've done here is, it is baby butt smooth. It's really smooth and nicely done. So I think what they've done is they've painted it on, and either they sprayed it on and then smeared it with something, or they've applied it with something that's got that brush effect to make the paint streak, something you normally try and avoid when you're painting a model. But in this case, it works really nicely to get that brushed effect. I don't know what metal this is, probably aluminium. And I don't know what colour it is underneath, whether it's got a primer coat, or whether it's just slightly darker than this silver colour. But it does give this nice brushed effect. So 10 points for that. I don't know how they've done it, because if I did that with brush painting, it would look lumpy. It would look horrible. But they've made it look quite nice. So yes, nice brushed effect. And we've also got the bits for the tail light, the other tail light in this issue. So let us crack on. Now we're going to start with the piece of body shell first. So I'll move those over there, because unlike the last issue, I'll actually start with step 1. Oh, I'm such a spoon. So this is fairly easy bit now. We basically put on the trim onto the body panel, which is this piece first. Goes on there like that, to say. And that goes in with 2 AP screws. You think I'd have learnt to get my screws ready by now, but no. I'm not that smart. Let's get the screw ready then, Fox, shall we? Oops. Right, I've got my screw ready. Let's put that back on there. Let's make sure we're doing it on camera, dear. I'm all fingers and thumbs today. Incompetence level, pretty much 100%. 2 AP screws. Now remember, I'm going in plastic, so I don't need any oil. And the screw is going into metal, a metal housing, so I can go quite tight if I want, because it's not going to break any plastic. In fact, that's as far as it's going to go anyway. It kind of stops. It's not going into the point where it's going to stop turning. And I really don't let go of the screw either. The screw doesn't go into where it stops turning, but it's in. And it's only a trim piece. Trim piece. So I'm not too fussed. The screw's not going to come out again. If I really wanted to be extra secure, I could put a tiny touch of either thread lock or thread lock, not really because it's plastic, but I could put a tiny touch of CA glue on that just to lock that screw into place if I wanted to. This one's the same. It's not stopping. It's spinning forever freely, but it is in. It's not going to come out. That's fine. And the next piece is the shorter piece. Which goes onto these 2 little holes here, and that will be that way around. Like, I've done it again, I've not got my screw ready. Honestly, Fox, so that sits there like that. I'll get my screw ready. There we go. Right. That goes in there, and this one just has one screw, which goes in there. There we go. Is this one going to tighten, or is this going to stay free spinning? Oh, this one actually stops. There you go. Oh no, it's tighter, but it still spins. But it's fine. It doesn't really matter. Like I say, if you really wanted to be extra secure and safe, you could put a tiny touch of thin CA glue around the gap between the screw and the housing. But it's not going to come out. It's never going to come out. You'll be absolutely fine. So that is that bit done. That looks really nice. I am quite impressed with that paint effect. It's a really nice paint effect. It remains to be seen how it carries off across the whole of the body shell, but that is quite a nice effect. I don't particularly want to put any CA glue on them now, because there might be a reason why I have to take that off later on. I don't know. Maybe I've take this off in a bit later on to put some wiring in and then put it back on again. I don't know. So it might need to be removable. Now we have to make the other tail light, which should be a reverse of the other process. So we'll take that there. This is where it all falls out again. Dee 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 dee. And this one goes here like there to see, with the lip at the bottom. Always have your lip at the bottom. That goes in there. And then we need to get this into the back piece. My name is Herbert Backpiece. And this is going to be tricky because I've got to do this with my offhand. So that goes in there and then sits like, and they all fall out. Oh, here we go. If you really wanted to not have this happen, you could put them in with some canopy glue, but you don't really need to. You just need to not do it on camera, really, is the tricky bit. That's the selling point here. Try not to do it on actual camera. Go on, you can get in. Come by. Oh, it's going to vex me now, isn't it? Go on, in you go. I can't see it. I can't see it, Captain. Yeah, just don't do it on camera. That's my advice to you. Try not to film when you're actually building it. It never ends well. Go on, in you go. Are you even lined up? I can't actually look at it. There we go. There we go. That's in. That's not in. Oh, there's always... Oh, do you know? Do you know? Can't get the staff. Let's try that again, shall we? Oh, knocking the camera there. Everything's going wrong. Wait till I have to wire up all the wiring on the dashboard. That should be fun. Right, you go in there. You go in there. You. At this way, I'm going to have to make offerings to Shamash and Areshkit. There we go. That might be in. Is that in? Yes. No. Yes. 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 And I want an BP screw. Yes, I was almost at the point of having to light incense then to make it work. It's the interior hole, so it's that one. The inside hole, not the outside hole. Again, not using any oil because it's going into plastic, so it's fine. Okay, that screwdriver was a little bit not very grippy, so let's try a different size just to make sure. There we go, that's in. Ain't going nowhere now, no nothing neither. We start to have a very back-end looking back end. Clip the assembled number plate holder and base into the space between the two light panels on the car's rear section. Well, there's no other section of the car really, is there? Oh, look at that. I do love the fact they carried on this texture of the light bars with the bit where the license plate goes. We need 2 AP screws to hold this in place. I'd love a DeLorean. There is a company in America that actually bought all the remaining DeLorean body shells and whatever was manufactured, because they're still in existence. They're all in perfect nick because they're stainless steel. And he started making EVs, DeLorean EVs. I assume they're still going. I'd love a DeLorean. It is a car that looks good. I don't know. There's just something about them that just, even if it hadn't been for Back to the Future, they're a good looking car. You can't go wrong with a DeLorean. So we now have the license plate. Secure the plate to the rear. Okay, and that is the easiest back end I've ever had to navigate. Wait, that doesn't sound very savoury at all, does it? We have a back end and we have one wing, or at the start of a wing. But that is issue 2, so that concludes this video. Now, in the next issue, I'm going to assume we get, in the next pack, we get 4 issues. I'm assuming we get 4. We might get 5 each time, but I think it's probably 4. So we'll have to wait and see. But that's going to do it for this time. So thank you for joining me. That looks mint. I start to get a feel for how big it's going to be now. It's quite warm, quite warm, no, quite heavy as well. But that's going to do us. So, folks, thank you massively for watching me. A big, massive thank you to the fine folks at Fanhome for providing this to me. Remember, of course, if you're interested in this partwork, there is a link in the description below the video. Go and check that out. as well as all my other like Amazon links and stuff like that. There's a link for this partwork. If you are a former Eagle Moss partwork builder and you are partway through this, or the Enterprise, or the Ecto one, or any of the other stuff that Fanhome do, go and check them out. And give them a shout. As I say, I think there may be something in place for former Fanhome customers who were partway through their builds. If not, I think with these ones you can start from a specific issue. So if you got up to issue 38, you can start from issue 39 in your subscription. So if you've got a half-built partwork on your shelf from Eagle Moss, despair not. Fanhome are now taking care of it for you, and they are awesome. If you've never dealt with them before, they're really cool. So go and check it out. But yes, that's going to do us. So thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Go make something awesome like this. Go be awesome. And until next time, adios amoebas.